Sometimes crime does pay the ultimate price. Tonight we bring you tales from the gritty city. Brutal stories from the dirty, dark streets and alleys that are the underbelly of New York, as can only be told by the Hobo. New York City. Sometimes I hate this place. There's a lot of things to hate in this town. Just depends on what you let bother you and how much pain you're willing to take. But I gotta admit, there are those times every so often when I wouldn't want to be anyplace else. And tonight I'm sure of one thing. Kenneth Roland Krasinski, Kenny to his friends, is sure as hell glad I'm here. When a man sits down at the end of the long, hard day, the last thing he wants to deal with is a bunch of crap. When the sun is up and the heat is just beaten down, reflecting off all the steel and glass and hitting you right in the eyes, and you spend the day walking the streets, just trying to get by. At the end of the day, when the sun is swallowed up by the waters and everything cools down, all you want to do is take a load off and forget the day. Forget the pointlessness. Forget your life. It's a time when you can relax and close your eyes and dream of better days. Who am I kidding? I haven't dreamt in years. But Kenny had dreams. That's what brought him to the city. He had dreams of a good job, a fast-paced life, money, power. Most of that was still just a dream to him, but he was young enough to have hope. Problem is, he was also stupid enough to go the wrong way to get it. I don't know the particulars. Point is, he had an opportunity, and all he needed was money. A so-called friend told him where to get it. It was risky, though, but as far as Kenny was concerned, it was a no-brainer, a sure thing. Nothing could go wrong. That's exactly when everything goes wrong. You see, Kenny borrowed 10 G's from a guy named Panza the Tank Manetti, the kind of guy you shouldn't borrow 10 G's from, especially if you can't pay it back. And that's the thing, isn't it? You borrow money from a bank and you can't pay it back, maybe you can set up a plan to make a payment in little pieces. You borrow money from a guy named the Tank, and something goes wrong, they'll take it back in little pieces, off of your body. There I was in my comfortable spot next to a trash can in the back of an alley. Cardboard boxes in front of me, blocking out the world, so I didn't have to look at anything or anybody. But I could hear everything. Just so happens they caught up to Kenny, and they brought him down my alley. I heard Kenny begging for his life. That's what they all do. I've heard it lots of times, and all the different things the bad guys say to let you know that they don't give a damn. That never really bothers me. Each to his own. This city will teach you to mind your own business. Sometimes in this world, when you make a mistake, you better be ready to pay for it. But God damn it, they had to take it one step too far. You're at the end of your life, Kenny. Your time is over. The first time we warned you, but we gave you a little breathing room to come up with the money. Then we didn't hear from you, and we don't like that. Do we, boys? All 3 bodyguards said yeah at the same time. I nearly laughed. So we tracked you down, broke a couple fingers, and left you with just one eye to look out of. And what do you do in return, Not a damn thing. And again, we have to find you. And we don't like that, do we, boys? Oh, my God. They all said yeah again. I swear to God, Raymond, 2 days. Jesus Christ. I'll have it in 2 days, please. Just 2 days. God damn it. We've heard this story before, Kenny. We don't believe you. Like I said, it's over. The only part of you that's walking out of this alley is your ghost." And then the pathetic begging starts again. But this time, it's about his little family at home. "Well, don't worry about your pretty little wife and kid. Kenny, my friend, we know that's where the rest of the money is. And when we find it and finish with your little lady, the three of you will be reunited." And that's what I call too far. Sneaking up on them wasn't difficult. Guys like that aren't too worried about being bothered by some hobo in an alley. Besides, they were making so much noise beating the shit out of Kenny, they never even heard me creeping up behind them. Raymond stopped beating Kenny for a minute and slammed the back of his head up against the brick wall. He wanted to get one last look into Kenny's good eye to make sure that the last thing Kenny saw was his smiling face. That's when Kenny looked over his shoulder, past the other three guys, and saw me. And a desperate whimper escaped Kenny's bloodied mouth. "Please help me." The three heavies laughed out loud, and Raymond asked, "Who's gonna help you?" And that's when they heard, "I am." Every so often in this life, you just gotta take a stand. I've seen a lot of bad things, and not much phases me. I was content with letting them beat the shit out of Kenny, maybe even kill him. When you purposely get yourself in a corner, you better be prepared to fight your way out. That's life in the cold, hard city. But these sons of bitches threatened his family. That's the step I was talking about. And now they're gonna pay for it. When you're going up against multiple attackers, there's not a whole lot of time to think. Problem with these guys, they're just not used to anybody standing up to them. And that's all the advantage I need. So let me paint you a picture. Three big dumb thugs facing away from me, and I'm directly behind the guy in the middle. In front of him is Raymond Bono, a foot soldier working for the tank, also with his back to me, and he's got his hands full of that sad sack Kenny. I've got all kinds of options. The best one is usually straightforward. So as soon as they hear me speak, I don't even give them time to turn. My fist rockets out like a firing piston, hitting the guy directly in front of me square in the back so hard I swear to God I separated his spine. The god-awful impact throws him straight into Raymond and Kenny, and all three of them go down in a mangle of limbs and fat bodies. The two slabs of beef that are still standing hesitate. They barely even know what's happening. Like I said, they're not used to someone fighting back. The one on the right is closer and reaches out to grab me. In a split second, a low side kick shoots out like a kicking mule and bends his knee back with a meaty snap, and he drops like a screaming cat in a sack of garbage. The last man standing comes to his senses, and he's got a bat. He raises it up to the sky and swings it down hard and fast towards my head, but not fast enough. I spin to his inside and smash my elbow straight up into the base of his nose, sending every bit of cartilage into his brain like a shotgun blast. Just so happens, when he brought the bat down, he didn't miss. Oh, he didn't hit me. However, he smashed the brains out of the guy with the broken knee. Damn fools are making this easy. Raymond managed to scramble out from under his motionless bodyguard. But there was nowhere to go, so he started backing away from me like a child afraid of getting a whooping. Then a funny thing happened. I've seen this a couple times. A little bit of backbone started creeping its way back in. "You're fucking dead, hobo. Nobody touches Panzerminator's crew and lives. When he hears about this, there won't be a fucking trash can in the city you can hide in." Just one problem with that. "Oh yeah? What's that, you fucking hobo?" Who's gonna tell him? Raymond Bono's eyes got wide, and then he bared his teeth into something between a smile and a silent scream. He reached into his pocket to pull out his knife, way too slowly. By the time his shaking hand got a grip on that blade, I had already whirled around and the heel of my foot was speeding towards his jaw. Maybe if he wasn't pinned up against the wall, his body could have spun from the blow, but the only thing that spun was his head. Raymond Bono met his maker, sprawled out in a trashy alley lying on his chest, but his face was pointing up at the sky. Guess they just don't make necks like they used to. Kenny was crying and thanking me. I smacked him across his one good eye. Everything that happened here tonight was your fault, Kenny. Remember that. And I suggest you come up with the rest of the money. The tank is not gonna just forget about you. And the next time they go to kill you, you might not be lucky enough to be in my alley. It was the middle of the night after a long day, but now I was wired. Just like the good old days. Besides, I couldn't sleep here now. The alley was getting crowded. I don't think you'll have any more need of this roll of money in your pocket, Raymond. Thanks for dinner, and have a good trip to hell. Like I said, sometimes I hate this city, but not tonight.